Welcome to this lecture. In this lecture, we will see the toggle button in Java. A toggle button is another component much similar to a J button, but the difference is a toggle button goes into pressed and pressed on it. To get that back into normal state, we need to press again. So, the toggle button is used to create toggle buttons. It is two states button to switch off and switch on. Now we just see the practical example of the toggle button in Java. So here we just need to add the library of import java.awt and .event item event. Then I just import java.awt and .event item listener. Okay, then import java dot java x dot swing, and here I just import j frame, and at the last I just import java x dot swing dot j toggle button library. Right, now we just go to the main class and we just extend this class from jframe, and then implements implements this class to item listener. Okay, now here I just define the method public static void main and strings argument. Right, now create a method to this class, so j toggle button, then private toggle button, and this is toggle button, and then create the variable for the toggle button, so which is the name of button here. So I just copy this class name, and here I just write j toggle button and create the method here. Here in this method I just set title here is j toggle button, and closes code, and then set layout and new flow layout. So we just choose our flow layout here, and then it's flow layout, and now we just set toggle button, and here it's a capital T, and I'll just close this code here, and we just and set action. Here is better, I just import java.awt library and java dot import java x dot swing library. Okay, so now here I just write set default close operation, and then j frame dot exit on close. Okay, now here I just write private void and set j toggle button. So it's j toggle button here, and then I just write button which is equal to new j toggle button, so which is a state of on. So I just create a toggle button here and add this button. So our button is created here and add this button too. And now I just go to create one another button. So private void and set, sorry, private void and set action, and then button dot add item listener, and here I just use this, and then public void and item state changed, when means when this button change his state. So I just write item event and eve. So if a statement, if button dot is selected, so when the button is selected here, so you can see button dot set text which is off. Okay, and then when we see the else condition, so else here is button dot set text, sorry, button dot set text, and the text string here is on. So here we just set the size of the screen which is 200 and 200, and then I just set it visible. Okay, so visible is true, so our this frame is true. Okay, so now I just run this code, and you can see here the button with on and off state, so it will change its state. So you can see here I just import some of the libraries and then extend our class from JFrame and then implement it on item listener, and then I just create a method, then create the button and the method here. Okay, now I just set the title to my frame size and it visible true, and close on exit on closed, and then private void set j toggle button, so state is a on. You can see here our first state is on here. Then I just set the action on it, so button add item action and use this, and then I just use item selected change. Then I just uh, implement the state on it, means when the button is selected, so the state is off, and then else on. So this is a simple program on JToggle. Now we see one another programs on this JToggle button. Here you can see I just create a class with JToggle button one. I just import a library which is javax.swing, and then import java.awt, sorry, java.awt, and this is import, sorry, import java.awt, and one another library which is java x.swing.text. Okay, now I just extend this class from JFrame, and here I just write JToggleButton and set the variables to it. So T1, T2, T3, T4, T5, T6, T7, and T8. Okay, now I just write image icon, and then I just write I1, I2, I3, I4, I5, I6, and I7. So I just take 7 image icons and 8 toggle buttons. Now public J toggle, and here I just copy this class name J toggle button, and then I just create a GUI, means these buttons are shown in GUI. So I just use create and show GUI method. Okay, now I just write private void create and show GUI method, and then set the frames property in it. So set title, here I write J toggle button 2, and then set layout. Okay, and here I just write new flow layout. So in every lecture I just use the layout as a null, but here I'm using flow layout, and we will learn about the layouts in Java in next upcoming lectures. So here just make a concept. So set default, and it's default, and which is close operation. So J frame dot exit on close, and then here I just create some images icon. So I1 is equal to I2, which is equal to, and sorry, here I1 which is equal to image icon, and then here I just write, or I just give it the link of the image icon. Okay, so we have some images, and I just click on the properties and copy this link and paste here. Okay, now here image which is equal to new image icon, then I just copy this, and 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Okay, and this is a position of 2 3 4 5 6 and 7. Now I just use the icon of the globe, and I just copy this icon and paste it here. Then I just write the name which is home icon, and here I just write logo, and then preference color, summer, holiday, and swing. Sorry, it's not a swing hierarchy. I just write the image.dpj, and here is image.jpg. Okay, now I just create t1 which is equal to new j toggle, and it's toggle button. Okay, so this is the default constructor with no text, icons, and it is not selected. Okay, now here I just create using the second constructor take java x.swing.action object. So here I just write t2 which is equal to new toggle button, and here I just write new, sorry, it's j toggle button, and which is equal to new and default editor kit dot beep action. Okay, and here I just write t2 is equal to, now we just go to t3 which is equal to new toggle button, and here I just write I1 means icon number 1 for the toggle button number 3. Okay, so this button will take java x.swing icon library. Now you go to the fourth constructor. So here t4 which is equal to new j toggle button, and here I just write I2 and true. So this takes icon and the boolean representing whether the toggle button should be selected. So this icon acts as every icon. For example, it is the same as or a rollover. Selected and rollover means it is same on the rollover and selected and rollover selected. And here I write, so as usual I just miss capital T, and here t4 which is equal to new j toggle button, and sorry t5 which is equal to toggle button, and here I just write toggle button 5. Okay, as a string. So this will take the text on the toggle button only. Okay, and then t6 which is equal to new j toggle button, where I write toggle button number 6. Okay, and which is true, sorry, it's true. Now we go to the toggle button number 7. So t7 which is equal to new j toggle button, and then I just write toggle button 7 and icon number 3 on that. Okay, now at the last we just go to the 8th constructor, so which is equal to new and j toggle button, and then I just write toggle button number 8 and I4 and true. Okay, so I just write t1 which is dot set, and set is background, and background is the color dot light gray. So I just set some backgrounds on that. Now t1 dot set for ground, sorry, it's foreground, and it is T1. T1 dot set foreground here, and the color dot black. Okay, so I just set here foreground, and now I just set the action command. So T1 dot set action, sorry, it's action command. T1 dot set action command, and the command here is J toggle button, which is the value of T1. And here I just set text, so T1 dot set text. So the text here is toggle button number 1, and T2 dot set text, and the text here is toggle button number 2, right? So I just set text on button number 1 and button number 2. Now I just set cursor for T2. So T2 dot set cursor, and the cursor here is new cursor, and then I just write cursor dot hand cursor. Okay, and this is double quotation. Sure. Now I just set roll over the icon on the button number 4 to T4 dot set rollover icon. So rollover icon, and the rollover icon is button number 5. And here T4 dot set content, and the content area filled, which is false. Okay, so I just set the content area filled false, so just for see the effects only. And here I just remove the border from button number 4, so T4 dot set border, and the border here is, sorry, the border printed, and set dot border printed, and the printed here is false, and which is false. Now I just set the set rollover, so the rollover icon on just on the button number 6. So I just set some rollover icons. It's selected, means rollover on selected icons. These icons come when the toggle button is selected and then the mouse is hovered on it. Now I just create some custom selected icon. So T4 dot set selected, and selected on icon number 7. Now T3 dot set rollover, and here I just write rollover enable, and which is false. Okay, and here it's the selected icon. So this T3 dot set rollover enable is just a rollover disable for button number 3, and when rollover is disabled, the rollover icon is never be seen. Now I just disable the button number 7. Sorry, button number 8, T8 dot set enable, and enable is false. And now T8 dot set default, sorry, it's set disable icon, sorry, it's set disable selected icon, and I 6. Okay, so I just set the disable selected icon, so this icon appears when the J frame is open because T8 is selected by this time. Now I just set the disable icon, and the icon cannot be seen because one after the toggle button is disabled. Selected cannot be changed. For example, all the events are blocked and they are not generated. This example is quite lengthy, but it will clear all the prospects from JToggleButton. And I just write disable icon and disable icon on I6. Okay. Now T7 dot set icon and icon on text gap, and which is I just write 10. So here set the icon on text gap, and the default gap between the icon and the text is 4. And I just set the position for the text means top, bottom, center. So this with respect to the icon. Swing content dot top one which is equal to 1, and swing constant dot top which is equal to 3, and swing constant dot center which is equal to 0, and the default value of the center is always 0. Remember that. So set vertical, and vertical is the text position. Okay, and here I just write text position is 3. Now I just set the horizontally, so T7 dot set horizontal text position which is swing constants and constants dot center. Okay, so I just set the text position in the center. Now I just set now I when I just focused and the border are printed. So here, like here I just set the icons look like and desktop icons. So T7 dot set focus and focus like printed. So here I just write false. Okay, now T7 dot set border, and the border here is false. Now T7 dot set content area filled which is also false, and at the law I just write printed for system.out.println, and the print line here is T4 means it's our text for the button number 4. T4 is selected. So I just concatenate T4. T4 dot is selected. So I just set text for the button number 4 now. So I just write system.out.println, and the print line here is focus painted for T4, and then I just concatenate T4 dot is selected, is focus print, and focus printed. Now I just copy this, and for border and for content, and here I just write border printed for, and here I just remove this and write dot is border printed, and then I just concatenate dot is content area filled. Now I just add all the toggle buttons. Okay, and this was the printed. So here I just paste printed. So now I just add all the buttons. So add T1. Now add T2. Add T3. And here I just copy this. Add T3, T4, T5, T6, T7, T3, T4, T5, T6. Sorry, T2, T3, T4, T5, T6, T7, and at the last T8. Okay, now I just set the size. So set size, which is a screen of 700 x 600. Okay, and set which is visible and which is true. Okay, now I just close this code, and here we just go to the main method. So public static void main, and then strings arguments, and then swing utilities, and the swing utilities are invoked later. And here I just write new runnable. Okay, and then I just create a method which is public void and run, and then new, and the copy this class name and create the method for it. So here I just create the method for this, and here it's not closed because it's a function, and yes, right now. And here, yes, close here. Okay, closed here. Now our code is completed here, and we just see the expected output. And when I just click here, so you can see I have two toggle buttons right now because of screen, and this is a displayed image for toggle button number 1, toggle button number 2, and toggle button number 7. So these are some graphic issues. So here I just change the positions, and yes, I just set the size here, which is 1000 x the height is 600. Okay, so you can see here, yes, this one. So you can see here the different types of buttons, and then the images are here. So this is a simple example of the toggle button in Java. Thanks for